Gachiakuta is pretty crazy, but what else have we come to expect from anime? It's even done us the courtesy of skipping being called trash to actually being about trash. And it's really good. That's also important. This is a series that talks a lot about the value people have in the things they own and how they treat those things. That's where the idea of what is and isn't trash comes from. It's already a really interesting concept, with a power system that's essentially formed around the idea of how you value something. Maybe I'll talk about it in a different video the way I did with Undead Unlock. The power system isn't just about the love imbued within things by others. It takes a look beyond that to the emotions imbued into things that are discarded. A concept that is elevated a lot because it doesn't just deal with objects, but with people. There's a connection drawn between how objects are valued and how people are valued, and how some people get treated like they are trash. That's a big crux of the themes of this story, finding value in the places where others would say there isn't any. It was already quite a thing when the story started with Rudo looking through the trash people had given up on to find value while living in the slums in the sphere. But after being framed for murder and thrown out with the trash, with people believing that he really is just a killer, it transitions more to the idea of human garbage. Especially with the reveal that people live where the sphere dumps its trash. But then it becomes a question of perspective. Because it's quite notable that, despite the dangers of living on the surface, in what is surely more life-threatening situations than anyone on the sphere experiences, more happiness can be found down on the ground than in the sphere slums, where people are taught that they lack value by society. As the protagonist, Rudo goes against this because he embodies the idea that of course things have value, no matter what. He's introduced searching through garbage in order to find objects of value. But despite that, he also represents the very bottom of this idea, as he's hated even in the slums for being the son of a murderer, whose actions reinforce the idea that those in the slum lack value. People really hate Chiwa for giving up on him, but her reaction is basically a representation of the attitude on the sphere. They throw things away far too easily, and accept that as the norm of the world. See how quickly they went from accusation to throwing someone in the pit. Rudo, in his rejection of being rejected, rejects that. Rejectedly. Meanwhile, on the surface, between the trash beasts and the givers, there is a culture of paying far more attention to trash of all kind, and a proper understanding of the value of things, even if the givers are considered weirdos by a lot of people. Because of how he was raised, not by Recto, but in regards to how the community treated him, Rudo is different from everyone in how he feels. I mean, he threatened to come back to the sphere and kill everyone who threw him away. It's an abnormal and concerning thing to say, but not an unbelievable reaction. People tend to react combatively to threats to their well-being. After everything he's been through, there is a deep rage in Rudo, one that can lash out against those who've hurt him, even if doing so is to his own detriment. And after being dropped to the surface, that rage at the injustice of how he's been treated bubbles up a lot easier than it used to. And then we come to Amo, a girl so similar to him, someone who has had pieces of herself taken out by those around her, and who fills that hole with a vital instrument of mysterious origin and power, an instrument that we see helps her think straight and better live with herself and understand her situation far more, even if it doesn't really fix her problems. Make no mistake, she was also treated like trash, even if she's convinced herself it was love. During the flashback to her backstory, we see that she is aware that her mother sold her. She's just in denial about it. But the fact she thinks about it before dismissing it shows that deep down, she does know. Her mother only valued her as something to trade, and the man who bought her only valued her as something for his own pleasure. But that wasn't real value. Not of Amo as a person. The trader is also worth considering as someone who previously held Amo's vital instrument, something that shouldn't be possible, and he appears to have been someone who was also treated as lacking value. He complains that the other traders hate him and look down on him. Can't imagine why. Truly a mystery. Who wouldn't want to be around this guy? I guess his presence does show that there are indeed people who are just human trash. Though considering the masked angel said that the shoes would suit her better, actually being human trash doesn't seem to be reflected in the philosophy of this story. I highly doubt we're gonna get much further info on the latest member of the most hated characters in anime club though. We don't even know his name. We see Amo think, "not again," when Mr. gets into one of his moods. While Amo acts unaware of reality, there is a part of her that knows what's happening and knows that she doesn't like it. She can only deceive herself so much when she's being hurt. Even if she calls what's happening to her love, it's a complete devaluing of herself as a human being. And that dehumanization, that being treated like trash, and the mental problems that come with it, be it wrathful rage or uncaring delusion, is a connection these two share. A connection dulled by their powers as givers, instilling these objects with their thoughts, and connecting with the thoughts already in them. The thing about how this series treats its power system reflected in the development of these two is that thought, the energy that brings out the value of objects, can only be given by others. And so, the base of being treated by trash is being rejected by society and those who should care about you. That's where Recto comes in. He helped Rudo deal with his rage and taught and encouraged him to reach out to others. And that's what makes the pain and anger Rudo has in regards to his murder so much stronger. One thing that's notable is that Rudo puts a lot of effort into being kind. It doesn't come to him easily, but it's always so interesting to see him try, because he's well aware that his anger is a problem and so tries to fix how he acts. Not because it's not valid for him to be upset, but because it's not helpful to explode like that. When Zanka upsets him in their first meeting, he actively takes a moment to try and think of things from his perspective in order to understand why he's upset and calm the situation down. It's a moment of maturity that's only ruined because his smile looks like it's something that belongs in the horror anime. You can say that Rudo was right to be angry at Amo, but that anger shouldn't overcome your thinking, because when it does, it becomes a serious problem. Especially when Amo is someone who needs to be shown the value she does have instead of living in the delusion she's trapped in. What these two broken individuals need is to heal from the damage done to them. And you do that by being able to connect to others. And of course, Rudo's at the forefront of that. After all, he's the one who finds the value in things discarded by others. And despite the pain in his hands, thanks to the help and lessons given to him by Recto, he can still reach out to others. Shout out to my patrons, A and Skyman. Tell me your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and check out my channel for more content. Thank you, and good day.